Hey, what's up guys? It's JoePCool14 here. Well, it's official. Mineplex is no more. Let it be known that May 16th, 2023 marks the official end of an era. Yeah, Mineplex is gone, and wow, it is really surreal to think about. I woke up this morning, I saw they announced it late last night, technically this morning still. As of me recording this, I found out through an old server with a few friends from Engine, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit. We'll talk about Engine, that is. Yeah, I found out they reposted, and I came in here and I saw that, and yeah, I was I guess a bit shocking, although not totally shocking, because the servers and the website had been down completely for about, I want to say 3 days at this point. So it was pretty clear to, I think, most people that the writing was on the wall, because if you care about your server network, you don't leave it offline for 3 days. That's just not that's just not something you do. This wasn't even the first time, actually, in recent weeks. The Java server was down or broken for, I want to say, several days as well, and that was pretty recent too. So yeah, you know, again, the writing was really on the wall, and of course it goes back well before this. Really, in all honesty, Mineplex had died years ago. I can't pinpoint an exact time when it was really dead per se, but you know, I would say the turning point was probably 2019, 2020 or so. I don't know, maybe that's not quite right. I mean, because I guess at that point I really wasn't playing much Mineplex at all, so you know, my knowledge of Mineplex started to get pretty fuzzy by this point. I just knew that things were far from where they had been during, you know, the mid 2010s, you know, your 2013, 14, 15 era. You know, I pretty much, I guess, to pinpoint a time when I kind of started really checking out of Mineplex was in 2018 when they left Engine, which I guess while we're on the topic, Engine is gone too. I know this probably doesn't really impact a whole lot of people watching this, unless you're a real old timer like myself. But yeah, Engine was a pretty important website in the Minecraft server community. A lot of servers used it. It was a very good just website builder. It had a lot of different modules and things you could use. It had integration with Minecraft. They had their own plugin to handle purchases and the store and all that. And yeah, in fact, several servers that I have played on, in fact, the three probably main servers that I've played on over the years, Creative Fun, actually I should say it's actually four, Creative Fun, Treasure Island, my own server, Coolcraft, and of course Mineplex. They were all actually at one point in their own histories based on Engine, which is crazy to think about. Now, of course, you know, those servers have come and gone. Like Creative Fun had left Engine years ago. My own server had closed again years ago. Treasure Island also has bit the dust. I never made a video discussing that, but they also closed. I think it was just last year that they fully shut down, but that's a whole nother story. Mineplex, on the other hand, they were on Engine for a while, and they were, I would say, comfortably the biggest Engine website for their time on there. There was so much activity on that website. It was insane. There were so many different, you know, profiles, and everybody set up their favorite friends with all these different icons and you know, kind of spoof accounts. They could have all these images. I don't know, if you were on Engine and Mineplex during this time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, profile walls were huge. It was almost like Facebook, but for Minecraft server communities, and it was a fun time. It was a really fun time. There was just so much personality in it all with the formatting, and yeah, some of it was obnoxious, but you know what? Hey, it was in good fun. But there was just there was just so much going on the website. The forums were insanely active. It was incredible. I spent so much time on those engine forums. Even times when I shouldn't have been, like when I was at school. I remember explicitly sitting in as a freshman in my freshman history class, and I would just sit there on my Google Chromebook, and it was a terrible computer, but I could go on the Mineplex forums, and go on the Mineplex forums did I ever. I amassed thousands of posts over there. But yeah, Engine was a huge thing, and when Mineplex left, that really, I think, was the final blow for Engine. Or that was the beginning of the end for Engine, which it deserved, because Engine wasn't making improvements. The website was just getting slower and laggier and worse. But I don't want to get off on too much of a tangent. This is a Mineplex video. It's not an Engine video, but I have to bring it up because I feel like the history of Mineplex is in a way the history of Engine, and vice versa. They really go hand in hand with each other in a lot of ways. But yeah, really, Mineplex has been dead for years, and I don't think this is a shock to anyone. You look at the player counts, particularly on Java Edition, which is what they're originally known for, and they were abysmal. They were terrible. Tens of thousands to thousands to several hundred to a few hundred to 100 to basically nothing. Once you get, I would say, like under a few hundred, then you don't even have games starting. There's no activity. Most of the lobbies are dead. At that point, the server's dead. A server like that needs to have at least, I don't know, a couple hundred people online concurrently at minimum. And it wasn't even really doing that. So, yeah, it got to be really sad at the end. And frankly, I don't think this should come as a surprise to most people either, but the owners just simply didn't care. They simply let the server go. They just weren't investing in it. They weren't producing updates to try and bring people back. They weren't trying to sign deals with content creators to get their name out about Mineplex. They just didn't do anything. They really just kind of just sat around. And now I don't know everything, so I'm take what I'm saying with a grain of salt from a veteran of the server, a former staff member actually, 2 times. But we'll get into that. They just didn't care. There was just no community feedback incorporated. It was very little. It was very hard to see any significant changes or improvements to whether it was the server itself, the website, the staff team. It was just very, part of it was bloated, but the people who were on the staff team, like the admins, the senior mods and all that, that's not the same thing as the owners. The owners are their own separate thing, and really at the end of the day, they let the server down. They just stopped caring. There was no communication, no activity, no interest, no investment, nothing. And if you don't have owners who care, the server's going down. Your company's done. It's done. It's over. It can't survive on that, and it obviously didn't. And this really here was the culmination of it. The server goes down for 3 days. Nobody has any idea what's going on, and it takes some random admin who I'm sitting on Discord right now, Dean, who I think was a pretty well-known admin in the community. He had to make the announcement. It wasn't even an owner that said, look, we're done, we're shutting it down, we just can't spend the money anymore. He had to deliver the message. And he said, and I quote, "I shouldn't need to be the one to tell you all this. I shouldn't have to." And yeah, absolutely true. It's like, yeah, it just makes no sense whatsoever. It's embarrassing, and it's just a really sad end, but not a very surprising end either. This was inevitable. This was a long time coming, but yeah, that doesn't make it any less sad. It's just, yeah, this is how Mineplex ends. This is how it ends. Not with a bang, not with an explosion, but a whimper, and barely even that. So yeah, I'm sorry to all the people who spent money on ranks and things, which they definitely went crazy with at the end, and I had my own opinions about through my years. I tended to have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Mineplex. You know, sometimes I would really hate what they did, but then weirdly enough, like, I actually still wanted to play on the server. I don't know, it must have just been the core of it, or I don't know, it's probably a bit of Stockholm Syndrome, I won't lie. I definitely wasn't perfect with how I handled this server. No, well, actually, no doubt. No doubt, but yeah, they made a lot of dumb decisions, and, you know, I think I tried to call them out, but I didn't do it very well. But at the same time, I'm going to cut myself some slack because I was simply just a younger, more immature person. You know, this was really like, you know, 6 or 7 years ago. You know, I was, you know, in 2014, I was 13, 2015, I was 14, etc. So, you know, it's easy for me to say I'm 22 now and I'm looking back and it's like, it's really easy to say, yeah, I should have done this. I should have been more mature and whatever. But it's like, well, what was I really, you know, you're just younger. You just don't know what you're doing. You know, putting all this negativity aside, I had so many good memories on Mineplex. I had wonderful, wonderful memories with this server. Really, especially in its early days, it was really fun. I mean, it was a good time. It was, first of all, I mean, I guess starting with the core, I just thought the minigames were fun. You know, back in the day, I remember right around when I started to get really active on Mineplex, Micro Battles had come out, which I played that game so much. I think I played that game potentially more than any other on the network. That game was, it was so simple and yet it was so fun and it just had so much strategy. Unfortunately, the game kind of broke over the years because they just didn't, I don't know, they changed how it worked. They didn't fix bugs or what I thought were bugs, and I don't know. But in its initial form, it was just so fun. It was just simple PvP strategy fun. You know, really quick, if you lost the game, no problem. Jump into a new lobby. You'll be on your way before you know it. So, I just like that. I like the arcade in general. The mixed arcade had a lot of great games. Runner, One in the Quiver, Super Spleef, Turf Wars, Bomb Lobbers was one of the later editions. And there's definitely more that I'm not mentioning. But there were I just really enjoy the simpler Minecraft minigames. The ones that are just really easy to jump in and play and just have fun with. And Mixed Arcade had a great variety, I personally think. And the game... Oh, I also forgot Snake. Snake and Sheep Quest were both really fun too. But yeah, there were just so many good games. And Bacon... Oh, the one with the pigs. Bacon Brawl. Oh yeah, I love Bacon Brawl. That one was fun too. Yeah, there was just so much... They were just fun. They were just straight up fun games. And like I said, they were really short for the most part. So if you died, it's kind of like, oh, all right, you know, you stick around. And that's what people used to do back in the day. You know, you jump into a Mineplex lobby and you would usually stay there. You wouldn't, you know, nowadays it's kind of like you would jump in and then as soon as you die, you're out of there. You're into the next game. But back in the day, things were just a lot more slower paced. I think the culture was a lot more to stay in the same lobby and just kind of hang out with those people and talk. And I think that kind of helped to create more of a community than, you know, nowadays. Like I said, nowadays you go on Hypixel and they give you the button to automatically jump to the next lobby when you're dead in the game, which I get it. For a longer game, if you die really early on, yeah, you're not going to sit there. But something like a quick arcade game, you sat there. It was just what you did. And you know, I think it was fun. I think it was a better and more, I guess, personable way to play these minigames. But yeah, the minigames were great. In addition to that, I mean, they had a lot of, you know, they had some other ones that were a bit more, I guess, distinct. Champions Dominate, I think, is one that comes to mind. I played that quite a lot. I didn't really do it so much for the channel, but I enjoyed that one. MC League was a short-lived game that I enjoyed. That one was a fairly simple gameplay style, but I liked that one too. Speed Builders was really unique, and I liked their Sky Wars that they had for a while when they had the different, like, fire and water and ice, and I've forgotten what altogether. It was like, you know, it was those kinds of things. I really liked that too. I remember I actually got all the achievements in the Sky Wars. Not that I was a pro or anything, but I just really enjoyed it. But yeah, the games and their simplicity as well. You know, you just jumped in and you just had 3, 4 kits. You know, some of the complicated games had more kits, whatever. You chose a team. It was all just really straightforward. It was really user-friendly, well organized. It looked great. And I just don't think any of the other networks at the time were like that. You know, Hypixel is a great network. Don't get me wrong. But Hypixel is very complicated. I feel like they got so many menus and so many lobbies, and it's just not the same. Hypixel is just not Mineplex. And that's fine. You know, I'm not saying Hypixel is inherently problematic, but just there was a simplicity in Mineplex that I think was really appropriate. And I think it made it a fun place to just, you know, again, pick up and play was the name of the game. And I think they nailed that better than Hypixel, in my opinion. But yeah, I have so many good memories. I remember back in the early days, I really wanted a rank. Had to pester my dad to let me buy Hero rank, which at the time was the top rank. At the time, it was just Ultra and Hero. So I remember that, and like I'd be like, oh, the ranks went on sale. And that, at the time, ranks going on sale was like, whoa, this is a rare thing. This is super cool. Not like nowadays where the ranks are just constantly on sale. You know, playing with old friends. You know, if you guys are watching this video, I'm going to give a couple shout outs. A few shout outs here to ThreevenDG, Ender Chicken 28, Vinceman 28, Shadowstorm 6, as well as many others. And I do apologize to some of you. I've forgotten your names. You know, unfortunately, I don't have the friends list. I can't go back and get it, which really sucks. Because I did have some friends, and you know, lots of different people I played with. But yeah, it was just fun to hop into a party and just jump around to the games. Like I said, it was just really simple fun. One of the other things we also had was the when they introduced Legend, I upgraded pretty quickly, if I remember correctly. Maybe, I don't remember. And they introduced this thing called, I think it was Mineplex private servers, and basically what it was is you could start your own server within the server, and it was your own lobby, and you could pick whatever games you wanted. Any games, arcade games, survival games, Sky Wars, Super Smash Mobs, Champions. You could pick anything, and you could customize it. You could change the team balancing. You could, you know, there was some features. I think it could have been more fleshed out, but it didn't matter because there was enough there that it was fun, and I had some good times, and I actually was able to get some pretty full lobbies. In fact, I even made a video. One of my earliest videos was actually filmed in an MPS, where we turned off team balancing, and that was some of the best fun I think we had in that MPS, was doing crazy experiments like that. Which I guess is a good segue actually into my YouTube channel here in Mineplex. My YouTube channel and Mineplex are very intertwined. This is not my YouTube channel actually. Sorry, let me get over to that. So Captain Sparkles, he uploaded a video talking about it, and he did this. He searched Mineplex on his channel. If you do that for me, you get quite a few results as well. In fact, I'm just gonna click. I created a while ago. I created a playlist with all my videos, Mineplex videos, in it. And yeah, there's over 30 Mineplex videos over, you know, several years, which may not seem like a lot, but actually I would say it's got to be the server I've done the most content on. I haven't even done that much on Treasure Island, certainly not Hypixel. Yeah, without a doubt, I think Mineplex is the one I've done the most on. And yeah, I did a variety of videos. You know, some were commentary, some were just mini games. I made several reviews back in the day when I was doing Joe reviews of a few of their mini games, like Type Wars, which I didn't even mention Type Wars. That one was something else. Monster Maze. Oh man, there's just so much stuff. And then kind of the worst one of the bunch was this episode 14, this Titan rant that I did. So Titan was the 4th rank that Mineplex added, and at the time it was ridiculous. They made it so you could find it in chests, and then they added to the store for like a really high price. And it was a big controversy. I made this really ridiculous rant. It's not very good, but you know, it is what it is. Everybody's opinions changed. The prices came down. Then we got a 5th rank, and then we got Power Play Club, and then they changed it to Immortal or whatever. So I don't know. But yeah, Mineplex was a server I did a ton of content on, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I recorded videos with my friends, and it was just so easy to jump on and just have fun. You know, like, again, this is what Mineplex was. It was just a fun place to play Minecraft. I've already kind of touched on the forums and engine, but yeah, just to kind of sum up, that was a huge thing for me. Which actually I'll segue into. I'll talk briefly here about my staffing experiences. So for those of you who don't know, I was actually a staff member on Mineplex not once but twice. The first time of which was in 2015 for about 3 months. I unfortunately did not stay on the team because I actually failed the test to be promoted from like a trainee, which is like the introductory rank, to a regular moderator. So at the end of I had 2 months trial, and then I was extended for a month, and then unfortunately after that extra month I still wasn't promoted. So that ended in, I think, towards the end of the summer in 2015. And then in 2016 I was accepted again in March, and that time I did make it to mod, and I stayed on the mod team for a few months. And unfortunately that one also ended in a demotion, but that one was a bit more controversial. I posted something on another forum, which was also on Engine, which is a whole nother can of worms, which the mod team did not like, and they demoted me because I had done this a couple times. Again, kind of this whole, like, just, I don't know, it was very complicated, and just mixed feelings about the whole thing. Mixed feelings, I would say. I handled it pretty, you know, calmly. I didn't say, oh, go flame Mineplex for this, which I could have done, but I chose not to. But that aside, I was on the staff team in 2016 for, I think, half a year. It was like, it might have been like 6 months in the end, around there. And I had a pretty good time. I, in fact, even still made videos during this time. There's a couple videos you can see I'm a moderator in, so that was kind of fun dealing with that. And yeah, I also was I did helped out with the reports. It was called the Reports Patrol. # clear the reports for all of you former RP members. I was also on the forum mod team for a while, which was interesting. You know, it was, again, the Mineplex forums, like, love-hate relationship. I loved going on there, but man, some of the rules were crazy. Some of the people were crazy too. They were tryhards. They were tryhards, no doubt. And it just made the forum kind of weird. It did feel a little sterile compared to some other forums I participated on in various topics. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. But yeah, just Mineplex staff, that was a fun experience. It was very unique to get to see this server, which was, at the time, one of the biggest in the world. I mean, it was still very much popular in 2015, 2016, and a couple years after that too. So to get kind of access in that regard was actually really cool, and man, I really wanted to at the time. It was a huge goal of mine, and you know, I did achieve it. Didn't work out as well as I'd hoped, but you know what? You know, I'm just glad I got the opportunity. It was fun. Wasn't perfect during this time, but you know what? I'm still not perfect today. We're always improving. Yada yada yada. You know the drill with that. But yeah, the staff team. If anyone, you know, remembers me from the, well, I mean, I do remember my batch. If you're from my batch, which I think was called, I had 2 batches, and I think the second one was the Excellent batch. It might have been around Easter, hence the name. If anyone's watching this, you know, hey, I hope you're doing well. Leave me a comment, say hi. You know, Love to hear from you again. I'd love to hear from... Honestly, I'd love to hear from any of you. If you're from the Mineplex community and you remember, you know, things, how they were back then. I'd love to catch up. Just love to, you know, get to hear your side of the story. And yeah, definitely contact me, leave a comment, add me on Discord, send me a message over there. And whatever. Maybe I'll make some sort of follow-up to this. I'm not sure. And then, you know, just like pretty much most things, you know, they must come to an end, no matter how good they are. That was Mineplex. It started a downward trend. They started splitting their focus onto Bedrock and putting stuff out on the marketplace and all that crap. And, you know, I think that was probably when things went really haywire. Without just, again, getting into too much detail, I think when they started to pivot to Bedrock, I think that's when things got bad. Because, yes, Bedrock has more people, but you abandon your core audience. And that was a mistake, because the core audience, the older audience, has the money. The younger audience, the children, do not. So, just keep that in mind. And yeah, and in the end, Bedrock server remained fairly popular. It was always, I thought, a buggy mess, though I never thought the Bedrock server was very good, to be honest. I played on it sparingly, I guess. It was fine. It was fine, but it definitely got worse, and at the end, I would say it was probably pretty unbearable for a variety of reasons. So even if it had players, like, these players were not invested in it like the old players were. It was just a totally different thing. So, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the past. You know, I think the future is interesting. I don't know if there's leaks going on right now with source code or maps. Personally, I'm kind of on the side of, since the owners literally do not care, I don't think I really have a huge issue with leaks of this stuff. If they're not going to do anything with it, then why not just let the community have it? I mean, just for fun, I think that would be nice. I don't think they're really going to do that on an official basis. Individuals might have data they've stored or whatever, but I just feel like the owners, if they're not going to do anything with it, then what's the harm in letting us do something with it? So that's just my opinion on it. I do know there's people working on Mineplex Revival servers or server. That's a thing, so we'll see if that comes to light. I'm definitely interested, and I'm going to try to follow through on that. I don't really know how successful something like that could be in the long term. I think it could see a short-term boom of activity. I don't know if that's a sustainable project, though, but, you know, we'll keep an eye. The Mineplex Discord is still a thing. They're working on revamping it and kind of loosening some of the rules and stuff, so that's kind of cool. You can still join it. It's still public. And then, you know, Hypixel, that's kind of where the minigame scene is at on Java Edition. The Hive is gone. The Hive has been gone for, I think, years now. Not too long, but it's been gone longer. And there's probably other servers out there. I really haven't heard of any, to be honest. I'm not super active in the server community like I was a decade ago. You know, it's just a different scene now. It's not about servers as much as it used to be. There's definitely still activity in servers. Again, Hypixel still has tens of thousands of players. But it's just a different scene. It's different now, especially with Bedrock kind of taking more of the younger player base. It just changes things a little bit. I think the numbers are smaller, but they might have more of a core audience. So, just some food for thought with that. So, yeah, I think this has been... I've been talking here for about a half an hour now. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say about Mineplex. It's been a ride. It's been a lot of fun. It's really kind of the last nail in the coffin for my childhood servers. Creative Fun technically still exists, but I barely played on that server. That server's totally different. It's whatever. But Treasure Island's gone. Coolcraft has been gone for years. Engine was killed off earlier this year, actually just a few weeks ago. and now Mineplex is dead. So it's just like, well, you know, this is crazy to think 10 years ago all this stuff was thriving, or yet to be thriving. It's yeah, it's surreal. I thank the Mineplex staff members and the community for what they did, for the good stuff that they tried to do. A lot of stuff I disagreed with, for sure. Some of the moderation policies, and certainly the lack of community feedback being accepted. But, you know, that falls more on the owners, I think, still. A lot of that. But I don't want to downplay the good stuff that they did. I mean, it felt very professional, a lot of it. It felt very serious, but it also was fun. It managed to be both. And, you know, I thank you. In fact, I met some great people, like I said. In fact, I don't know if I'm using them in this video or not, but my own, I guess, avatars, if you want to call them that, they were actually drawn by someone from Mineplex. In fact, a very well-known individual in Mineplex, Firestar891. And I'm still using them to this day. So yeah, that's the story there. So anyways, before I do end this video though, I actually am going to announce I'm going to be posting at least one more Mineplex video. Yes, that is correct. There will be one final Mineplex commentary video coming out of me playing Mineplex minigames, just like the old days. And I recorded this video, I believe, I don't remember if it was in 2023 or 2022, but it was within the last, let's say, half a year. I can't remember exactly, but let's say half a year. And I've had it just sitting around, you know, in the backlog of a computer at home, and I never actually edited it and posted it, but I feel like now would be a good time to do that, and to kind of just give it a little bit of more of a send-off, you know, a little bit of old time's sake, both for the server and for my channel, for what used to be just a really core thing for the channel. So keep an eye out on the channel for that. I'll try and get that up soon. Or soon TM, as we used to say on Mineplex. When is Clans coming out? Soon TM. Thank you guys for listening to me just kind of talk about the server. Farewell, Mineplex. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the games. Thank you for the experiences. And thank you for the fun at the end of the day. Hopefully, future youngsters will find a similar community. Something like that to be a part of and to enjoy. So yeah, farewell Mineplex. Thanks for everything.